Hello and welcome to another Unity tutorial. In this video we will be making a character that can move and look around, and this will be the base for our game that we make. I've already made a new Unity project called My 3D Game, and I've made a main.unity scene. If you don't know how to do this, you can watch previous videos in either the 2D or 3D section where I show you how to do this. So the first thing we're going to do is in our game object, we're going to make a plane. Make sure it is at 0, 0, 0. And scale is 1, 1, 1, and this will be what our character will walk on. I'm going to change the X and Z scale to 5, so it's a little bit bigger. I'm then also going to make a capsule and set its Y position to 1, and this will be our character, and I set its Y position to 1 so it's standing on top of the plane. The plane and the capsule should both have colliders already. So the capsule will have a capsule collider and the plane will have a mesh collider. I'm actually just going to rename this from plane to ground and this from capsule to player. Just like that. And you can go ahead and give your player the player tag. And this is the basic setup we want. Right now it's hard to tell the difference from our cylinder from our background. So like in our last video, I'm going to make a new material. This time I'm going to call it orange. And I'm going to give it a nice orange color for my character. Just like that. And if you go to our game, you have our orange character. And something I want to do is I want to line up my view with where I want my camera to be. So right now our camera's over here. If we go to game, it's kind of on the ground. But most 3D games are from a slightly tilted up point of view. So what I can do is I can line up in generally the right direction of my camera, tilt up a little bit, and then zoom in and out until I have the right height. I like about, say, that height. I'm just going to move forward a little bit, like there. And then I can click down here in the hierarchy on my main camera. I can go up to Game Object and then click Align with View. And this will snap my camera to where this camera is. And then on the main camera, I can go over to the X and set it to 0, and Y and set it to 0. And then find a nice even thing for that, like 30. I'm going to say 5.5 for that. Oops. 5.5. -8, just that they're all even numbers. And now it's centered in the middle of our screen and looks a bit better. And now that we have our camera set up, I'm going to go to our player. I'm going to add a component that is a character controller. So you can find that by clicking this up here and just typing character controller. And that will add our basic character controller. And this will handle a lot of the stuff that we had to do with our 2D when we had to add the ground checks and stuff. This character controller handles all of that for us. So now we can right click. We're going to create a new folder. This folder will be called scripts. I'm actually going to make another folder called materials to put my orange in. And inside the scripts folder, we're going to make a new C# script, and I'm going to call it my character controller. Just like that. And I'm going to drag it and drop it on my player so it shows up right here on my player. And then I'm going to open it up in Modern Develop or Visual Studio, depending on what you have installed. And now that it's open, we're going to add a few variables. So the first variable we're going to add is a speed control. So we're going to do public float speed is equal to 5.0f, because this will be a float. We're going to have another float, which is jump speed, or essentially how powerful should our jump be. This will be 8.0f. We're going to have a public float that is gravity, so how strong do we want gravity to be? In this case, 20.0f. And that's all the variables we need. And we're making all these public, so that way back in your script, if you save it on your player, oops, you'll be able to edit all these so you can fine tune it to behave exactly how you want it to behave. We're then in our update. We're actually going to delete our start like this. And then in our update, we're going to do some checks. So the first thing we want to do is say our character controller is equal to get component character controller. And what this will do is it will say, where's our character controller? Oh, it's the component character controller. And something we can actually do is have a character controller up here. I'm actually going to bring back our start. Wait, start. Just like that. And inside here, I'm going to say controller there, and we can get rid of that. And this will just save a little bit of processing time for us. So we're making another variable up here, that's the character controller, and then in our start we're setting controller is equal to the get component character controller, which means that it will look on your character and it will get this character controller. Now inside here, remember all the weird, if you followed the 2D stuff, we had to do all this weird stuff for checking if we're on the ground or not. To check if we're on the ground with 3D, we can just do controller.isGrounded. That's it. It's already built in. We know if we're on the ground or not. And if we are on the ground, oh, there's one more variable I actually forgot. So we have a public vector3 called move direction, and that is equal to vector3.0. And this is how we're going to know where our character needs to move. Vector3.0 is just a empty vector3, and a vector3 is a way of keeping track where something's moving in 3 dimensions, so x, y, z. So we're checking is grounded, and we're going to say if it is grounded, we want move direction to be equal to a new vector3. That vector3 is going to be made of input.getAxis, getAxis horizontal, like that, 0, because we don't need a y movement, and input.getAxis vertical, like that. We can close it off. Now we have our move direction like that. And then we're going to say our move direction is equal to the transform direction of move direction. And this is just going to take this raw vector3 and turn it into a transform direction. And then we're going to say our move direction is going to times equals speed, which means we're going to take whatever speed we have here and multiply it by horizontal and vertical. This horizontal and vertical are default -1 to 1, so that means it will be traveling at 5 to -5 or whatever you put in speed. And that will just make it easier to see what's going on. And then we're going to have if the input.get button jump. So if we press the jump button and we are on the ground, we can say move direction.y is equal to jump speed, like that. I forgot parentheses there. And then below this if here, we're going to put a move direction.y minus equals gravity times time dot delta time. So this is going to essentially apply gravity over time, so it will behave like real life. And then we're going to say controller dot move, so move our player controller, and we're going to move in our move direction times time dot delta time, just like that. So this is a basic little character controller that we can then save. Come back here, and now if there are no errors, we hit play. We have a little character that we can move around and you can jump. And right now, if you jump you just maintain the velocity that you were going at. If you want to make it so you can move in midair, all you have to do is take this move direction stuff here, copy it, take it out of grounded, and just put it right there. And now you can move, and looks like that didn't work how I thought it would. So I guess we're just going to have to leave it in here for now. The next class or the next video I'll show you how to make it so you can jump in midair. But this is our basic controller for now. We can move, travel around. If you take your main camera that we set up and you drag it onto your player, now your camera will follow your player and you can explore your little scene. Like you can walk over to the edge and stuff, but you currently can't rotate your screen, which is a major part of games, being able to look around. You might have a game where you don't want your camera to look around, and in that case you don't have to do this next step, but otherwise just follow this next step. Sorry, all the stuff I've written is on my phone and it keeps turning off. Okay, so for camera controls, we're going to go back to our script. We're going to add another variable that's going to be public float mouse sensitivity. That's wrong. What is this? Mouse sensitivity. Oh, that was right. Okay. And I'm going to set it by default to 10F, so float of 10. And then down here at the bottom, we're just going to make a little room. And here's where we're going to put the mouse controls. So we're going to say float mouse input is equal to the input. Oops. Is equal to input dot get axis mouse x, like that. So it's going to get our x value for our mouse. We're going to have vector 3 look here is equal to a new vector 3 of 0 mouse input times mouse sensitivity, 0. So this is going to make a vector 3, like we said, a three-dimensional vector. It's going to be where we're looking. In this case, it's going to be our mouse input times the sensitivity. And then we want to do transform.rotate. Rotate. So this will essentially spin our thing, and we're going to spin it with look here. Just like that. Now over here, we hit play. You can use your mouse to look around. You can tell that the background's spinning and the shadow's spinning. And this is just a basic 3D controller. In the next video, we will be going over the different kinds of lights and how to add some custom shaders to your game. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.